Join me as we take a fast lap around the Autobahn Country Club South course in our Driver Academy Toyota GR86 Cup car. Anticipation builds as the pace car pulls away, heads into the pits, and the cars are packed up pretty tight, 2 by 2, as we head for the starter stand. Approach the starter stand, the green flag drops. On the gas, good passing opportunity here as you're coming to a very, very slow, tight turn. 3 abreast going through this turn most of the time. Back on the gas, heading for turn 2. As they approach turn 3, cars start to string out a little bit, and this fast left-hander, a little bit of a downhill here. Back on the gas, heading for turn 4. A very fast left-hander, maybe ease off the gas, maybe tap the brake just a little bit to get the nose down. Now we're a little bit uphill climb here to turn 5. Just a little bit of braking required here as you head towards turn 6. This turn is a little tricky as it's 2 turns, big sweeping turn, a good passing opportunity if you have enough guts to stay on the inside track. Now you're heading up to turn 7, the kink as we call it. Cars are stringing out pretty far now as we get some good speed on and the pack starts to separate a little bit. Hard braking into turn 8. Get another good passing opportunity here as you head for what we call patience. This is probably the hardest turn on the course to master. You got to go pretty deep, you got to brake pretty hard, and you got to turn pretty tight. Okay, so now we're at turn 10. Longest straightaway on the course, 1,850 feet. Back on the throttle hard. Time to relax a little bit, loosen up your grip, take a couple of deep breaths, get ready for this hard braking. Again, another good passing opportunity coming up to turn 11, which is a 90-degree right-hand turn. Barely having time to straighten out the wheel before it's time to make this immediate left-hander. Now you're heading for the last 2 turns on the course, turns 13 and 14. Relatively fast turn with 2 apexes before you straighten out the wheel, and you're back on the main straightaway heading for the start-finish line, and you've now completed a full lap at the Autobahn Country Club.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Autobahn Country Club. Thank you for tuning in, and today you are witnessing our GT race. Now, this is our 9th race out of 10 in this GT series, and boy, do we have a doozy for you today. We're going to be talking about not only the racers, but weather is definitely a factor, track conditions, and just the overall atmosphere that we have going on. So there's going to be tons of action for you today. My name is Kyle Nato, bringing you the play-by-play, and standing beside me, we have Autobahn member Charlie Margosian.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. We're excited to see this race today. We have quite a large field for the GT cars and some tricky track conditions, so it should make for one of the best. Lots of points races going on, and we're looking forward to seeing how this turns out today. Great to be here with you, Kyle.
Thanks, Charlie. We're definitely going to look towards you for your insight and what it's like to actually be participating in these races. Now, as you can see, the field is out under our Lexus pace car. They are going to be performing 2 pace laps, and you see one of our special features here with the Autobahn live stream. That is our in-car camera presented by Sentinel in-car cameras. So that's going to give us a unique perspective as well to see what these drivers are seeing right now.
And Kyle, I'm excited to see this because today we're in the car with Tony Kester, who, as you well know, is a professional race car driver and has experience all over the world, did the 24 hours of Le Mans, and knows this track as well as anybody. So we're going to have a great bird's eye view of how a driver sees the track and watches the race. The other thing you'll notice here is it's still damp. We had soaking rain this morning here. That means the track is not rubbered in, and these guys are going to be dealing with some slippery conditions, but they're all on dry tires, and that makes it even trickier sometimes.
That means only one thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to make for some fantastic racing. So the first pace lap is complete. Let's take a look at our pole position right now. As you can see in GT1, you've got Dan Gove. Unfortunately, I don't see him out on track right now, so we're going to see if he makes his debut here shortly. But currently in pole position is GT2 Brett Scroggin in that extremely fast BMW. GT3, we've got Val G comfortably in the lead there in GT3. GT4, Scott Benning Sr. And then GT5, newcomer, not a newcomer to the racing series or Autobahn, but this year he's started to race with us, Matt Johnson in that BMW 330 Ci race car. So that is your top positions in each GT category. Now, Charlie, can you briefly explain what GT racing is all about?
So, as you're aware, Kyle, but the audience might not be, each of these classes is in one of five. Each of these cars is in one of five classes based on horsepower to weight ratios. So, in theory, each class is racing against a car that's relatively similar. But unlike some other series, you can make improvements to your brakes. You can make other improvements to the suspension. So people have some freedom to try to make their cars faster. Now, you pointed out that Brett Scroggin is on the pole, but you also pointed out to me a few minutes ago that Tadas Karlinskis is out on track. He did not qualify, but he is very fast in a GT1 car. In fact, he holds the record for GT1, so it'll be interesting to see what he does today. Now, as they're coming up to turn 10, pace cars should be pulling off.
Yep, so the cars are going to start lining up 2 by 2, and all eyes are going to be on the starter stand waiting for that green flag to fly. So we get that great shot in car as all of these cars should be lining up 2 by 2. Now, the GT5s are going to be kind of towards the rear, but right now, as the field comes down, are we going to get the green flag? And yes, green flag flies. We are 5 toes in, pedal to the metal, as everyone goes down into turn 1. It looks like Brett Scroggin out in the Pink Panther BMWs takes the lead as the field comes around 3 wide into turn 1 and 2 as they make the transition for that left-hander into turn 3, $1 million corner. Now they're going to come flying down, flew the blisteringly fast turn 4 as the field starts making their way around this track.
And as you see the field moving, Jeff Isringhausen had a quick look there at Ernie, both in the Caymans. They're coming around right now on camera. Ernie in orange, Jeff Isringhausen Sr. in the white car. And now the GT4s and GT5s move through. And it looks like everybody got off clean despite the slippery conditions. So that's a good thing to see.
That's fantastic. We are clean and green as we are racing around. Now they're coming around turns 8 and 9 as we see from that in-car between turns 10 and 11. That is our big... Whoa, we've got an incident.
Somebody's off.
That looks like David Hurt is spun around facing the wrong direction. You've got the white TA2 car of Dick Ruck. And also, let's see, that looks like Val G in the BMW.
Well, that's a big blow to Val because Val was running up front, and obviously he ran into something there. Doesn't look like there's any body damage here, Kyle, so that's a good thing. But
no, wait, that's Brett Scroggin.
No, it's Rashinsky.
Oh, is that
Ron Rashinsky?
Ron Rashinsky.
Sorry about that, guys. But regardless, all 3 of those cars are going to have quite a bit of making up to do if they want to get back up and run for the race. Now you see Michael Benet here in the Newman car, looking good in GT3 as well. And as we move through here, some of the back markers who were probably anointed back markers by that incident. We got Kirk Cordell, and coming through is Ron Rashinsky, David Hurt, and last but not least, Dick Ruck.
All right, so excitement so far with only just a few laps into this race. Brett Scroggin, as we look towards our leaderboard right now, Brett Scroggin with a extremely fast lap in with a 131.8. So even in these tricky conditions, Brett Scroggin's still able to put down some very fast laps.
We got Tony Kester off turn 8.
All right, Tony's out there mowing the lawn, but he's able to get it back out on a track, and that just goes to show how tricky these conditions are. And with the amount of experience that Kester has, like you said, racing at 24 Hours of Le Mans and all of his storied career that he's had so far, it's still any man's game out there.
You know, I was out on track earlier this week where Kester went off, and even when it dried out, that braking zone is very slippery and touchy. So I'm not surprised to see cars getting sideways there in the turn 8 braking zone.
You know what, Charlie, let me ask you, once again, Charlie Margosian, he is one of our racers here. Tell the folks at home what your racing career has been here at Autobahn.
So I started here at Autobahn about 10 years ago as a racer, about 12 years ago as a member. I race in GT4 and unfortunately had a bit of an incident during qualifying, so I'm not out there today. I'm the 3-time GT4 champion, and I hold the track record on North Track in GT4. So I have been out here and done what these guys are doing, and it is not easy today. And now we're in the car with Tony. We see him trying to make up time. One of the hardest things here when you get off track is not to let the kind of red mist and anger take over, because you just want to charge back out there, but you got to keep your wits about you, and we know Tony has the experience to do that. Looks like Ernie coming down the straight is ahead of Jeff Isringhausen Sr., and they were followed by Roy Lipner, who is making a nice show there in his BMW M3. And there's Dan Gove.
There's Dan Gove, yeah, absolutely, in that beautiful black Corvette. And you've got Tony Kester as well in that neon green MX-5. So this race itself, we started with 24 laps. We're down to 21. So this is actually a very long race. So a lot of drivers have to take the number of laps into account, because not only for fuel, but also they need to, like you said, keep their wits about them and make sure that at the end of the day, you cross that finish line. Because in order to finish first you must finish.
And the ambient temperature in these cars today, air temperatures probably high 60s here at Autobahn, heavy humidity. But when we're sitting in these cars, especially the Caymans with the rear engine, we're enduring temperatures of 120, 125 Fahrenheit. So it is a long way to go in these cars in that kind of heat. And adding to that factor is the heavy-duty racing suits that are fireproof. It's like wearing an oven mitt, Kyle.
Absolutely. I mean, and just last week, conditions here at Autobahn were kind of like the Chicago Bears, where they peaked in the 80s. And but look at that. We're making some moves out there, getting around. That is the 5'9" of Scott Benning Sr. and Brett Scroggin.
I think that's Rashinsky that
just
took position. Again? I think so, because I believe we've got Scroggin out front.
Oh, absolutely. 2
Pink Panther cars, folks, just to confuse us. So pulling ahead here on the straight is Ron Rashinsky after that little incident, followed by a pack of some of those cars that were collected in that, and some of the GT5 cars here.
Yeah, you've got Andrew T. in that red MX-5. Right behind him is Jason Wood in that mean Mustang of his. And then we've got Scott Benning Sr. in that 5'9", and the white NASCAR-looking car. That is a TA2 piloted by Dick Ruck. And then you've got David Hurt in that baby blue Porsche right there.
Now that's tricky, because Ruck just went on the inside there, and with the kind of grip we have today,
it's a bold move. It was move. Definitely a bold move, but Jason Wood making it stick. as he goes to the inside around Andrew T. Now, those two cars are not in the same class as you would imagine. A Mustang versus a Miata, I think I could tell you who would win that one. But they are still racing. Oh, we get some beautiful shots here by our drone. Fantastic.
What a great shot coming into turn 6. That is a difficult place to try to make a pass stick. David Hurt stuck his nose in there. Couldn't get it done. Doesn't surprise me, Kyle. Low percentage move.
But that's a great heads-up race. And look, you can see Hurt trying to make a move on the inside under braking at turn 8. And they're going door handle to door handle down into turn 9 and into Patience, which is that last turn right before that big 1,850-foot-long straightaway. And look at Hurt pulling away, using all that power that Porsche provides, that flat 6 producing tons of power, and is able to walk away of that BMW. But
now, just keep in mind as you watch this, David Hurt is 2 classes above the car he just passed of Scott Benning. So we would expect to see that power pull him away. And it looks like we've got lap traffic. This is Skippy, Brett Scroggin, coming up here on David Hurt and the back markers.
So Brett Scroggin also, I was talking to him at the drivers meeting. He is actually, I believe, getting married next week. So I know that there's going to be nothing that's going to make Brett Scroggin happier than a win today.
There's nothing like a plastic trophy on your week before your wedding day. You know, it's really going to bring smiles to everyone's face.
Absolutely. I expect him to carry that trophy down the aisle with him if he's able to pull it off.
We've got some good door-to-door action here. We've got Jeff Isringhausen, Britt Casey making his way through there. Those cars are in the same class, and following them is Michael Benet in the yellow Porsche.
So this is some great racing right here. A little bit of elbows out. Everybody's fighting for position. But this is what makes GT racing so much fun to watch. Multi-class racing. Like you said, cars are going to be in different classes depending on their horsepower to weight ratio. But there is just action all over this racetrack. We still have 18 laps remain, and it's anybody's race.
And that's what we got going on here. The front and back car are GT3 cars. So you've got Val G and the leader of these 4. And the back is Michael Benet, and the sandwich is 2 GT2 cars. So,
see, but now let's look at, there's Matt Johnson, and we're in car with Tony Kester. Matt Johnson out in front. He's currently leading GT5. Kester's doing everything he can, bouncing off of curbs, dipping wheels into the grass. He's going to try and make up some ground, which he is into the braking zone of turn 8. But Matt Johnson, there's going to be a dogfight on hand. And this is just absolutely fun to watch as Johnson comes around turn 10. Let's see what is going to happen going into the braking zone of turn 11. Can Kester get around Matt Johnson?
You know, that's no easy order. That's another braking zone that's very slick. But here he goes, making the move.
Can he hold it?
You got the inside line. Johnson, good defending. Very, very nice driving by Matt. And Tony is back. He's going to try to make another run going into turn 1. If I know Tony, here he goes on the outside. Deeks, he's going to move right on the inside in the braking zone.
And there he goes. He's going to go into turn 1, get around Johnson. Can he make it work? Johnson fighting back. My gosh.
This one's going to stick, Kyle. You've got the inside line at turn 3, and he's off and running.
Oh, but Johnson, beautiful slide through turn 3, was able to hold it and make it stick, so that way maybe he can live to fight another day. But Kester, look at those speeds, almost 100 miles an hour into turn 5, which is a tricky corner. And he's starting to walk away on Johnson. But again, 16 laps remain. Look at that. Here's another battle.
And it looks like Michael Benet is trying to get up there and duke it out with Jeff Isringhausen. In the meantime, we've got Britt Casey, and he is getting up on the bumper of Val G. So not necessarily in class, but some very good racing. And keep in mind that these cars, while they're not all in the same class, each two of them are in the same class. So nobody wants to let up and just let anybody walk through and lose the time. Michael Benet with a very nice move down into that turn, the way he tracked into 11. And here comes Tony now into turn 11 and 12. He is getting everything he can out of that car.
See, but look at Johnson. Johnson's starting to make his way back as well as they get around. That's Kirk Cordell there. Tony Kester was hoping that Cordell would kind of hold up Matt Johnson, but no, Johnson was able to get him around him in the final corners, and maybe can he close the gap on Kester. So right now, that's the battle for GT5. As we look back, once again, there's some great racing.
Yeah, this is Britt Casey moving up on the inside there, and I believe he just passed Scott Benning, but I'm not entirely sure. Now, here we've got Michael Benet right on the bumper of that other Porsche Cayman, and he is going to try to find a pocket, a little area where he sees a little list of mistakes, and he's going to try to get by that car. And here he goes. Here he goes. Very nice move into patience, and he is just off and running. Kyle, I got to tell you, I'm wondering if there's something wrong with that Isringhausen car. It doesn't seem like it's quite accelerating the way it should.
Well, so I spoke to Jeff earlier in the week. That's a new car to him. That is a Porsche 718 GT4 Club Sport. So it's a new car to Jeff. He typically runs a Porsche Cup car. So, and Jeff's got years of experience in racing, not only here, but also nationwide as well, racing with PCA and other groups. Yeah. But I do think,
something's wrong with that car. I'm going to be campaigning one of those cars here next year, moving up in classes, and there is something wrong with Jeff's car. Knowing his driving, he should be hanging in there with Michael Benet. But Benet making good time and trying to catch Val G, who was in his own battle, and I think it slowed him up a little bit. Here they come down the back straight, and right now leading that charge, I believe, is Britt Casey, followed by Val G, and then in GT3, Michael Benet. You know, Michael has not been racing much this year, but he is out there, and he is working for it.
Look at that beautiful drone shot once again, getting all the unique angles. But one thing that we should be paying attention is look at that sky, okay? Charlie, you had mentioned earlier today that we had a deluge of rain getting the racetrack nice and wet, making tricky conditions, but all eyes are also on the radar as well. It looks like it's currently, the rain's going to hold off, but if there's any moisture that comes out, most of these cars are on, actually all of the cars are on slick tires, so that could be a huge factor as the laps are starting to wind down.
Yeah, I tell you, rain clouds are the racer's worst nightmare when you're out there on slicks. This is not like Formula One, folks, where we have pit crews who are going to change your tires. You make a decision before the race, you look at the radar, you put on dries or you put on wets, and you make the best of it. So if it starts raining, all bets are off here.
See, but I'm actually of the opposite mindset. I love the rain. I love racing in the rain because to me, the rain is the great equalizer, okay? It really, dare I say, separates the men from the boys. You need to be more calculated, more precise, and try and find the grip versus just using gobs of horsepower out there. So, speaking of gobs of horsepower, that looks like that's
Scott Benning coming up here on Ernie. So Benning is having a good race. I don't know if Ernie ended up spinning off. They seem awful close because Ernie's car is positioned 2 classes above Scott, unless that was lap traffic.
So now I mentioned previously that this is the 9th out of 10th races. Coming up October 12th is our Oktoberfest weekend. So Oktoberfest is our big blowout event here at Autobahn. It's pretty much an entire weekend of nothing but racing. October 12th is where champions will be crowned, and that's what these drivers are all fighting for with their championship points. Look at that, and it appears to be halfway flag being displayed at the start-finish line. And it is confirmed Scott Benning has been lapped, so there is going to be some lap traffic that these leaders are going to have to contend with.
And now we've got John Joe DeWeen, who is right here up ahead of Val G, but Val, who is a class below him, is giving him all he can handle in that. And John himself is a very experienced racer, so...
Yeah, John's been away racing in the MX5 Cup. He's been doing very well. I was talking to him earlier today, and what he's telling me is the experience that he gets in the MX5, he's going to take that from other tracks and bring it here, and all of that experience is making him a better driver. So, actually, but that's his father, actually. That's Gene Joe Dwayne in the car.
Oops. Sorry, folks, but I'm taking a look here just at where we stand. So we actually have is Brett Scroggin leading the race. It looks like Val G is running in second because I don't see Tadas out there.
Well, that is kind of an oddity, so we're going to look into that. But as you can see, you've got the scroll at the bottom of your screen so you can keep track of your favorite driver. Now, since we have a moment, don't forget to like and subscribe and share the Autobahn live stream with your friends and family so this way more people can tune in and see all of the great racing. Also, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors in the GT series. We've got Eurosport Racing, CXI Trucking, and a little management company called Highland Management. We'd like to thank Highland Management for their sponsorship as well.
And Kyle's laughing for folks at home because Highland Management Associates is my company. And we're delighted that we've been a longtime sponsor of this series here at Autobahn.
We're delighted to have you. Also, we want to thank Signature Productions in helping us set up today's live stream. We couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you, Signature Production Group. All right, as the laps are winding down, things are definitely heating up. The track is drying out, and it looks like we've got a BMW wiggling back and forth like a worm. But what he's trying to do is actually try and find either he's trying to clean off his tires.
Yeah, I think he's cleaning his tires. Maybe he dropped a wheel and trying to get the mud off of that because that was Brett Scroggin, and he seems to be back off and running.
Yeah, and Brett his lap times are just getting faster and faster. His best time so far in that GT2 car is a 1:26.4. So very, very fast from Brett Scroggin, the young gun that he's been racing here for a number of years. And as you can see, that experience is definitely paying off for him. There's that black Corvette of Dan Gove, that GT1 car. Gove is a multi-time champion here in GT1. He's been a fixture in our racing series, and it's always good to see Dan Gove out on track.
And we're not used to seeing Dan at the back, but he chose not to qualify today with the tricky conditions. He's doing a nice job making his way through some of the slower class cars, get up there and get on the podium in GT1.
And don't forget those all-important championship points as well. So it definitely pays to show up. All right, as we take a look at our drone, it is just all over the place, catching all of the racing action that we've got going on. You see the beautiful garage mahals in the background, those places are very unique to Autobahn Country Club. Now, we are celebrating our 20th anniversary here at the club, and Autobahn was one of the first private country clubs to offer property around the racetrack. So, some people have a lake house, some people have a racetrack house, and if my wife is listening to this, which she should be, honey, I'd really like a racetrack house. So that's on my Christmas list this year.
Well, and the other thing is some of the people here have both a lake house and a racetrack house, so they don't have to make the compromises. We see Tony Kester here coming through turn 1, and it looks like he's got Ron Roshinsky behind him. And as we see, that's Gene Jodewine, and I didn't see who he was following.
So we're taking a look at some of these Garage Mahals. Actually, last night, we have a fantastic social calendar that all of our members can be a part of. And last night in particular, we had what we call garage crawls. That's where members open up their garages and we go from one to the other, checking out all of the cool things that they have in their garages. And it's just a great time to make new friends and see old and tell old racing stories during those garage crawls.
And I've never been to one, but there might be a few libations at those parties.
There's a reason I'm so tired today. Is because it was a long party last night. But you know what? It's still exciting out on track right now as, once again, 8 laps remain in this race.
And it looks like there's some lap traffic making its way through on Kirk Cordell in that good-looking BMW E92 M3. And I got to tell you, I'm really impressed with Michael Benet's race today. He has got a great pace, and he's really out there running with some cars in higher classes.
It also, I want to take a moment to mention, so you've got Michael Benet. Oh, look at that beautiful view. If you owned a Garage Mahal here, you could be sitting on your balcony and watching race cars go around. I don't think there's any better place than right here at Autobahn to watch all the races.
And that plastic owl paid a lot to be up there, I got to tell you.
It is a very expensive ticket to watch this race.
Now, we've got Michael Benet. It looks like Brett Scroggins behind him, and they're a little held up here behind Andrew in the Miata or the MX-5, and they've made their way through here safely, and we see Kirk coming down.
Oh, well, they made short work of Andrew T. They cut through him like Moses through the Red Sea right there, making way. So great heads-up driving by those 2 GT3 cars.
Yeah, excellent driving out here by everybody. Again, tricky conditions, and we've seen clean racing and people keeping it more or less on the track, except for the former professional racer here, Tony.
Well, you can't find the limit until you cross it, right? And but Tony has definitely made up some ground and is showing his experience and why he's a professional driver. And that's one of the benefits here at Autobahn Country Club is you have amateur racers, professional racers, and at the end of the day, when the checkered flag flies, you'll find all of these guys inside the clubhouse telling racing stories and sharing some beers, and just, it's really about the camaraderie here. Wouldn't you agree?
It's probably the best place I've ever been for a car guy. Just everybody here is good people, and we all love cars. We love racing, and I've made some of the closest friends I have in the world here. Now, Scott Benning just lapped Kurt Cordell, and they're followed there by Gene Jodewine, and I don't know if that is Isringhausen behind him, but it looks like there's a little scrap there between the 2 Caymans.
Absolutely. And now you might be watching this and you're wondering to yourself, hey, Kyle, how do I get involved in racing? Well, here at Autobahn, we figured that out for you. A few years ago, we started the Autobahn Driver Academy, where members and the public alike, we have different programs to get you and your car out on track, and we can take someone that's never been on racetrack, or we can take a seasoned racer and teach them how to start shaving tenths and hundredths off of their overall lap time. So if you're interested, check out Autobahn Country Club. That is autobahncc.com. You can find out more information about our programs on our website. But look at that, going into turn 1. There's got a little gaggle of the cars as they navigate nice and clean. with 6 laps remaining, your current leader is still Brett Scroggin out in front in that GT2. Now, GT1, Dan Gove. So let's run through the top 5 for GT5. Dan Gove in GT1 is out in front. Brett Scroggin is your leader in GT2. Val G is leading in GT3. And in GT4,
it's got to be Scott Benning.
Scott Benning. Yeah, Scott Benning. And then GT5 is going to be Tony Kester. So that is your current leaders in each class.
So now it looks like we've got lap traffic on Scott Benning as well. He's being followed closely by Jeff Isringhausen, Gene Jodeween, and then Ron Rashinsky. So maybe a little bit of a train there behind the slower car with these guys trying to make their way through safely. You know, getting offline today, making those passes is especially tricky because you see these damp spots on the track and there is just zero grip. You just saw Gene Jodeween slide off there because you have no grip where it's damp compared to the racing line. Very difficult.
Now, Charlie, let's talk about lap traffic. Again, you are a 3-time GT champion here. How do you deal with lap traffic? Is it a benefit or is it a disadvantage?
Well, it all depends on whether you're winning. You know, it can be a great blessing if you're trying to get ahead of somebody who's ahead of you because it just takes time to pass a car. It slows people up. And if you can take advantage of that, you can really catch up to somebody who might have a jump on you. On the other hand, sometimes somebody shows up, they need to pass you, and you're in the lead, and all of a sudden there's somebody in your class on your tail. So it's a blessing and a curse, and you've got to try to let people through safely and predictably and let them through because you don't want to mess with anybody else's race either.
Right, so I think you put that beautifully. It is a blessing and a curse, but that's what makes GT racing so much fun to watch right now.
And you see the flag there being shown to Scott Benning, that blue and yellow flag saying there's faster traffic approaching, and there's a bunch of cars here, and Scott he's holding his own, but you know these guys are all got to get through there and quickly for their own races.
Absolutely, yeah. That blue flag telling drivers that there are faster cars approaching. It is customary and courtesy to kind of get out of their way, so that way the drivers that are in class can battle amongst themselves.
And here's a great example. I don't know if you noticed, but Jeff Isringhausen has opened up probably a 3 or 4 second lead on the car that's been following him for over 10 laps, the car of Gene Jodeween, and Gene just got stuck behind that slower car, and Jeff got by before, and look at that. It's completely changed their race, so it's got something you got to watch for.
Yeah, once again, like you said, lap traffic can be a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing for Isringhausen. It's a curse for the people that got stuck behind some slower moving vehicles out there. But that's the name of the game here, as you see Dick Ruck in that all-white number 40 TA2 car manhandling that big old ground pounder around this 2.1 mile track. Once again, we're back inside with Tony Kester, and out in front with his turn signal on. You don't see too many BMWs using their turn signals, do you?
He's trying to signal to Tony that it's time to Tony pass him on the left. Either that or he just hit the thing by accident.
I think he hit it on accident because most BMWs, I didn't even know they came with turn signals.
Actually, a lot of the factory race cars do have turn signals because they have windows. So when you're lapping and you want to point somebody by, you got to use that turn signal. You can't put your hand out a piece of plexiglass.
Well, Tony and Kester here on the in-car and Scott Benning in front. Those are two good friends. Kester has been coaching Scott Benning. So right now he is just riding the back bumper, filling up the mirrors of Scott Benning Sr. Now, it also goes to show here at Autobahn, we're all about family as well. So Scott Benning Sr. has his sons that race in Spec Miata with us. Earlier, we were, let's get around them. Oh, boy. Okay. Sorry. Earlier, we were talking about the Benets. That's another racing family. There's Sean Benet. He's going to be racing in the upcoming Spec Miata series, which is the race right after this. Jensen Benet also is a karting champion as well. So here at Autobahn, we're all about family-friendly activities focused on race cars.
And I got to think Tony's been coaching Scott on how to make his car 3 cars wide watching this little battle, because Scott is not letting off as his coach is trying to get by him.
So there might be some lessons being explained after the checkered flag in the clubhouse. We're going to see.
Well, Tony's the kind of guy who's going to say, great job making your car wide enough that I couldn't get by, because nothing that Scott's doing constitutes blocking. He's just taking a defensive line, and he's pulled away from the threat right now.
All right, 2 laps remain in this race, so it's been a 24-lap slugfest, and the laps have been winding down. It is still anybody's race with the tricky conditions. All it takes is one misstep, and your luck can either work out or be a detriment to you. With Brett Scroggins still out in front, and we're getting that fantastic drone shot. Look at that as they come around turn 6, and those beautiful race cars that we have here at Autobahn Country Club.
And now you see Gene Jodouin has gone ahead and caught up a bit to Jeff Isringhausen, and they are dealing with lap traffic again. Maybe that was a blessing for Gene versus the curse he faced.
White flag being displayed. That means one last lap remains. So will you see some last-ditch efforts, making some passes, trying to move up onto the podium? We're going to see.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen here with folks, and there's still 1 lap to go, and these conditions are still tricky.
Absolutely. As the field makes their way around, we're looking at turns 8, 9, and 10. And some moves being made. Rashinsky getting around David Hurt.
I think that's Brett, actually, lapping David potentially for the second time, which will save David 1 less lap in that hot car right now. These guys are tired, I can guarantee it. 24 laps, a long race. You see David, he's not getting good traction there. The car's wiggling around, so he's been struggling.
Absolutely, and the double checkers flags is out. Brett Scroggin is your winner in GT2. Fantastic race with a dominant lead over the entire race. And fantastic driving by all of these drivers.
So that's Ernie Pizzellis. Looks like he's coming in as second in the GT2. Finishing up here, and some of these are lapped cars, not leaders crossing that line. I think right now we're probably looking at the next highest cars. That's Val G, looks like, or maybe Roy Lipner. And we see the 2 Cayman battle again.
Here we go.
We'll see if Gene Jodouin tries to put the move on Isringhausen, and Dick Ruck's going to get in the middle here. Of course, Dick, a much faster car than those 2 on the straights.
Oh, look at that. Slowing way
slower
down.
in the turns.
And that's going to help out Isringhausen as he pulls away. Dick Ruck has that big, powerful V8, but also needs to slow it down. And it looks like Isringhausen is going to take the win with Dick Ruck, and Joe Dwayne not able to get around. And there is Ron Rashinsky in that Pink Panther BMW. Here comes Andrew T., and I believe that was Roy Lipner as well. Tony Kester and Scott Benning. So 2 friends crossing the finish line. What a storybook ending for those 2.
And I'm definitely sure that Scott does not know his blinker is on. Scott has a home in Florida, so maybe he spent too many hours down there with the old blue-haired ladies and their blinkers.
Absolutely. As we see our Victor coming down pit lane. He is going to most likely be sent off to our tech inspection as the crowd up on the deck is cheering for all of our drivers. Folks, stick around because up next, we're going to have our Spec Miata series. But right now, here is our top 5. In GT1, we have Dan Gove.
GT2 was Brett Scroggin, and the overall winner was Brett Scroggin.
And in GT3, we got Val G taking home the victory and getting those much-needed championship points.
And in GT4, Blinker Scott Benning.
Scotty Blinker Benning taking home the win. And GT5, his mentor and winner in the GT5 category is the one and only Tony Kester.
Tony Kester. Very good race, very exciting stuff, tough conditions. Really proud of these guys. These are some of the greatest people and drivers I've ever had the pleasure of sharing a track with. So, a lot of fun.
All right. Well, unfortunately, Charlie, you said you had to leave, but folks, stick around because up next, we have our Spec Miata series, and you know you're going to want to watch that one. But right now, let's get paid from our advertisers. So if you want, you can step away, grab your favorite cocktail and some popcorn, come back for the Spec Miata race. But right now, a word from our sponsors.
We're here at the acclaimed Daytona International Speedway to show the Blazer EVSS in a way it's never been seen. It's beautiful with a sleek and dynamic design, but performance is in our DNA. And what better way to put the Blazer EVSS to the paces than having Team Chevy NASCAR drivers Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain get behind the wheel.
She looks fast.
Sure does.
You want to see what she's got?
Let's go.
All right. Yoo-hoo!
This is a Blazer EVSS. Let's see what Wild Mode can do.
Let's go. Yes! So much torque.
This is what performance sounds like.
What a ride. You think the Cup car will be that smooth? My turn to drive.
From 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. Experience the sound of performance.
Yeah, I was definitely faster than Daniel.
Define nature. It's what defines the all-new 2024 Corvette E-Ray. The quickest Corvette ever, with 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. An electrified all-wheel drive that handles all 4 seasons. A supercar of contrasts. It's everything you never expected. One like none.
Welcome to Kart Circuit Autobahn, home of the best arrive and drive karting in the Chicagoland area. This is our brand new fleet of CRG Centurion rental karts that go 50 miles an hour. They're fast, fun, and safe. They are also built for the driver that has the need for speed. Come on out and show us what you got. Welcome to Kart Circuit Autobahn, home of the best arrive and drive karting in the Chicagoland area. This is our brand new fleet of CRG Centurion rental karts that go 50 miles an hour. They're fast, fun, and safe. They are also built for the driver that has the need for speed. Come on out and show us what you got.
At Lexus, our motto is you have to feel it to believe it. Experience the exhilaration of the Lexus Performance line.
Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare for our upcoming Spec Miata race. Thank you for tuning in, and while I've got you, go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button. Be sure to share it with your friends, because right now we are on race number 13 out of 14 for the overall championship in Spec Miata. We've got some great racing up ahead. If you're just tuning in, we've got our Spec Miata and SM2 racers about to take the green flag. Looks like we're 1 minute away before we start our pace laps. As we look on as the field is starting to get ready, we see that beautiful Lexus LC500 pace car. And we'd like to thank Lexus for their continued support, being our official pace car of Autobahn Member Racing Series. Now, if you want to drive one of the Autobahn Performance Fleet vehicles, which are this year provided by Audi, BMW, Cadillac, Chevrolet, and Lexus, you can sign up using the Autobahn app to drive those wonderful vehicles. But right now, we're looking at the field. You can see all of the crowds up on the south deck, and even off in the distance you can see our North Track, where we have our motorcycle group Sport Bike Track Time taking over the North Track. So tons of activity, but right now eyes on the prize, and we are going to focus in on these Spec Miata racers. So we finished qualifying earlier today. And starting out in front, your pole position is Matt Alexander. Just on the outside of him, we've got Scott Ballard, Mike Ryan, and Ethan Tyler, and Scott Bowman. There are your top 5. Then, starting out in 6th, the young gun himself, Gavin Gleitzman, in that 5-1. We're going to be keeping an eye on him to see if he can make some moves and work his way up to the front of the pack. We've got returning member John Joe Duane in that 31. John's been out racing in the MX5 Cup Series around the nation, and he came back today to race with us. Now, one of a crowd favorite, car number 71, Greg Sorg, with a very distinctive paint job on his Spec Miata, so we're going to keep an eye on him as well. Followed by Jake Malter, Bob Groslack, Taro Kashida. Taro in that 6-0 silver car. Now, he's usually a front runner, but he had a little mishap in qualifying due to the weather conditions. We'll be talking about that a little bit later today. We've got the world-famous Tom Bagley in the all-red number 3, Kevin Ballard, and in the red number 15, Art Zeismer. That rounds out your SM field. Now, there's going to be a split start between SM and SM2, and that field is led by Eamon Ryan, and we have 808 Bob Reisinger just on the outside and starting in the top 2 position right there for Bob. Number 3 is Kevin Lockridge and Eli Dysart. Eli is a newcomer. He's another young gun that we're going to keep an eye on. Josh Dale, also doing extremely well this season, is in 5th position. Connor Miklos in the 523, and Little Flame himself, or actually, excuse me, this is Big Flame. This is the father, Andre Van Vieren, and Little Flame in the 192 is going to be starting side by side. So father and son right next to each other in matching Miatas, which is going to be pretty fun to watch. Mark Stadolski and John Milovic round out the top 10. We've got more cars than that, but right now we see that beautiful drone shot as we follow these cars around of one of 2 pace laps here before the green flag flies. So, once again, I want to thank you. My name's Kyle Nato for tuning in. We are here at Autobahn Country Club. We are on the 2.1 mile South Circuit of Autobahn. As we drop down low, we are going to see these drivers warming up their tires and getting ready to do battle here on our South Track. Today's in-car camera brought to you by Sentinel In-Car Cameras. This is going to be, let's see. We're going to find out who, that's Eric Halleck providing us with the in-car camera. Eric Halleck, after a short hiatus, is back racing. He's going to be in that 333 car for Eric Halleck, and we're going to get a great view of his driving today. As the field snakes around, that is turn 12 and 13. These are the final corners before the start-finish line. As you see that field snaking around, there is Matt Alexander in the all-black 157 and 808 Scott Ballard of the 190 right there in the silver with red lettering. You've got Mike Ryan. The front runners, these top 5 and 6 drivers have been battling it out all season, and today is probably one of the most important days to get those needed championship points, because coming up October 11th through the 13th, we have Autobahn Oktoberfest, and that is where our champions will be crowned. It is a day of all-day racing on October 12th. Started on October 11th, we have a full track Friday with some chase races, some music being played up in the clubhouse. It is a huge weekend-long festival that you're surely not going to want to miss. But then October 12th, that is the final race, and that is where the championships will be finalized. And then October 13th, that Sunday, we have even more activities going on with drift ride-alongs, off-roading, trap shooting, tremendous amount of kids' activities as well. So you're definitely going to want to come out October 11th through the 13th for Oktoberfest. But right now, let's get back to it as we get some great drone shots as they cruise past the field right there. That is coming into turn 8, and you see the beautiful backdrop that we have here in Joliet, Illinois for Autobahn Country Club. The lights are out on the pace car, and that means one thing, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get ready to go racing. All right, SM cars out in front. You see the SM2. They are going to be a split start. I hope you're wearing socks, folks, because we are about to knock them off as they come around these final 2 turns, waiting for the green flag. Pace car is going to pull off, and beautiful side-by-side action. Here we go. All eyes on the starter stand, waiting for the moment that green flag drops. And they're off, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Alexander on the outside. Oh, it looks like Scott Ballard taking the lead as Alexander drops down into 4th position. And a great start by the 5-1 of the youngster, Gavin Gleitzman, taking that wide line around turn 1. And here comes SM2 waiting to take the green flag. As we zoom in, let's see. Who's it going to be? Eamon Ryan out in front, followed by 808 Bob Reisinger. And a little bit of contact. Josh Dale in that red making a little unwanted love tap to Kevin Lockridge as well. But Lockridge able to hold into the 3rd place. And Bob Reisinger with the inside move in through turn 3. That's $1 Million Corner. Very tricky to make a pass there. But he makes it stick as it looks like Bob is able to hold off position. Now we're back onto the SM category. And Ballard in that 190 still out in front as they go nose to tail through the back section of this track before they hit that big long straightaway after turn 10, 1,850 feet long. And here we are with Eric Halleck. Look at those cars. Just a little bit of moisture coming up as someone goes off into a puddle and creating havoc back there for the rest of the field. And Halleck trying to make a move on the inside as they go door handle to door handle through 11, but can't quite make it work as the field comes around. Some great driving by all of our competitors as the first lap is now complete. It looks like Ballard dropping back. They're going to go 3 wide. Oh my gosh, folks. Whew. And it looks like everyone makes it stick. I believe, is that Ethan Tyler out in front of that 08 black and white striped car? And that's Matt Alexander, I believe, has moved into second place. So, yes, timing has confirmed. It is Tyler out in front, followed by Matt Alexander and Gleitzman sliding into third place. Greg Sorg also moving into fourth position in that graffiti-colored car. So, a lot of mix-up and position changes here in the opening laps at Autobahn Country Club. All right. And joining me in the booth, we have Ben Hasbrook to give us some insight into what it's like racing Spec Miata.
Yeah, great to be with you here today, Kyle. So yeah, we got some interesting conditions out there today. Kind of get to see what these guys can do out there.
Well said, Ben. That was great insight. But right now, Greg Sorg looking to get around and can't quite do it around the young gun of Gavin Gleitzman. There he is in that Food and Fuel 5-1. All right, looks like up, and now we're in with Eric Halleck coming around. And down the front straightaway, you can see the crowd of fans on the south deck cheering on their favorite drivers.
As Taro makes a move into turn 1, some good action going on here through 1, 2, and 3.
As the field is starting to make their way down through South 4, very fast left hand, slight bank, so you can carry a lot more speed. As you'll see, Eric Halleck doing about 85 miles an hour through that corner, which is hair-raising, let me tell you, as they come around into turn 6, and then down a straightaway between 6 and 7. There is a slight kink right here, as you saw in the opening film, as we explained the 2.1 mile track here at Autobahn Country Club. And it looks like the SM2 class is caught up to the back of the field of the SM class. So, all right, the field is starting to spread out. Everyone taking a deep breath. Once again, this race is going to have 24 laps, which is an eternity in a race car. So definitely takes a lot of stamina and mental fortitude to complete. Oh, we got some Frisbee action going on, and it looks like that 007 of Andre Van Vuren, unfortunately, spins like a fidget spinner coming out of turn 9, but he's able to get it pointed in the right direction and get back out on the track. So, unfortunate happenstance for Van Vuren, but let's see if he can make up some ground, because again, it's going to be a long race. All right, while we have some time, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Sentinel In-Car Camera, for providing this wonderful view here for us. Also, Signature Productions. We couldn't do this broadcast without the help of Signature Productions. Also, we want to thank our other sponsors as well, which are going to come up on the screen here momentarily. There they are, Cutting Edge Graphics and First Bank Card. Thank you for your continued sponsorship of the Spec Miata Racing Series. Lots of action going on around the track. It looks like into turn 8, we've got some battles going on as Ballard is trying to hold off. Let's see. No, that's actually, this is the SM2. That's 808 Bob Reisinger and Eamon Ryan in the 225. So Eamon Ryan all over the back bumper of Bob right there. Is he going to make a move into turn 11? Nope. He decides better of it, sticks behind Bob, and waits to make a move later on in the race. Yeah, so currently in SM2, it is Bob Reisinger followed by Eamon Ryan. And then Eli Dysart, another young gun coming through the Autobahn Driver Academy, and also a young driver applicant as well. So the Young Driver Award, should I say. Also in the contention for the Young Driver Award is Samuel Bowman and Gavin Gleitzman. So these youngsters are doing great out here in these racing series. And at the end of the year, we provide an award for them for all their hard work and also the opportunity to drive some other race cars to prove their mettle and to see if they want to move up in other series as well. There's Gavin Gleitzman out in front with Greg Sorg he's peeking around, but he's going to think better of it as Gavin Gleitzman holds off that pack as they come around. All right, those cars are nose to tail. So right now, Ethan Tyler is battling it right with Matt Alexander. So Matt Alexander able to catch up. Currently in third is now Greg Sorg getting around. And also, is that going to push Gavin Gleitzman to the outside? That is John Joe Duane in the 31 black and blue Spec Miata. So Gavin's going to have to tuck in behind. And then you've got Scott Ballard as well. And folks, look at this beautiful shot. Oh, this is, oh my gosh, we're going to have to duck for cover as the cars come straight into your living room. So we get some beautiful shots from the drone. Absolutely great. We want to thank CC Picks for You for all of our drone footage from today. So given all the action, and now it looks like Joe Duane makes a move on Sorg and gets around him under braking in turn 8. This is anybody's race, folks. All right, and the train snakes around turns 9 and 10. We're still going. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner, 19 laps remain. And it is still anybody's race. And right now, Jake Malter is putting pressure on Ballard. All right, Jake Malter again trying to make a move under braking, and he is able to get around Scott Ballard. So Malter, another young driver here. He's been racing with us for just a few years, but he can definitely show you how to move a Spec Miata around this track. So again, we'd like to thank all of you viewers for tuning in. Feel free in the chat section, tell us who you're rooting for. Who's your favorite driver in this Spec Miata series? And be sure to cheer them on. And you can do that right in the chat window. And be sure to like and subscribe for the Autobahn YouTube channel. Holy cow. Even more action as we get this pack, and it looks like Ballard's able to get around. But right now, Taro Kishida making up some ground. He's going to have the inside line going into the braking zone of turn 11, and I believe Taro does make it work. Gets around Scott Ballard. Gleitzman's right there, as well as the rest of the field. But Ethan Tyler, that 08, still out in front with his fastest lap of 137 point now, so extremely fast. But he still has to contend with his arch rival 157 Matt Alexander. Joe Dwayne has moved into third place. Fourth is Greg Sorg, and fifth is Jake Malter. So that is your top 5 in SM. As we wait for the SM2 field to come across the line, it appears still Bob Reisinger out in front with Eli Dysart moving into second place, and Eamon Ryan in third with Kevin Lockridge and Josh Dale. There's your top 5 for SM2. But there are battles happening all around this racetrack. All right, I got some people checking in, saying hi. We've got Paul from SMT texting me saying hi. So hi, Paul. Thanks for checking in. We're doing great here, and we appreciate you watching the live stream. So thank you, Paul, and everyone that's watching this live stream. All right, so we just saw the in-car camera of Eric Halleck. Unfortunately, he had to start at the back of the pack and is now making his way through the field, and you could see just how hard he is working as you watch his hands driving around. There he is. There's Eric Halleck, and he is making quick work of this field. He's trying to make a pass on the 101. That is Kevin Ballard in that baby blue and white Spec Miata. And just in front of him is Gavin Gleitzman in that red and white Food and Fuel 51 car. So let's see if Eric Halleck can make short work of some of these drivers in front of him. Oh no! We've got, it looks like Gavin Gleitzman goes straight off at 5. That is very disappointing, I'm sure, from Gleitzman. He's going to be a little upset, but he's going to bring that car back on the track. So there's Gleitzman. He's going to be disappointed in himself, but fear not, there are still 16 laps, and if anyone can make up that ground, it's going to be Gavin Gleitzman. All right, we have the field coming around through turn 11 and turn 13. Oh, and it looks like Gavin Gleitzman's off again on the inside of turn 8 and 9. He gets it started. Probably had quite a bit of debris on his tires, making an already slick racetrack even more treacherous. So, Gleitzman able to get back out on the track, and hopefully he can get back up to speed. All right, 15 laps to go. There we see Gleitzman. Looks like he appears to be moving fairly slow. Is he going to continue into this race? Or, nope. Unfortunately, Gleitzman's going to call it a day. I believe he's going to retire the car. And disappointment for Gavin Gleitzman, but don't worry, he will be back for Oktoberfest to defend his championship points. All right, as we get that drone shot zooming in, we are looking at Bob Reisinger still holding off Eamon Ryan. So some fantastic driving from 808 Bob. out in front leading the SM2 race. As we get a beautiful panning up shot, you can see the entire facility. But right now, Eamon Ryan looking to make a move. Can he outbrake Bob? Little bit of tire smoke, makes it stick. Eli Dysart, oh, the sandwich is made. This is complete pandemonium, folks. We're one Viking hat away from January 6th, and it looks like Dysart takes the lead in SM2 with Bob Reisinger and Eamon Ryan. And is that Dale and Josh Dale trying to make a move as well in that 1-0. Kevin Lockridge sitting back, just waiting for things to shake out. And it looks like Eamon Ryan dropping back. And can Kevin Lockridge secure another position? Which he does. So fantastic driving as Eli now leads SM2. So, wow, fantastic and very bold move to slice between those two cars, and he made it work. And he's starting to pull away, getting a little bit of gap. So fantastic driving from the youngster Eli, and that right there is why he is considered for that Young Driver Award, but unfortunately, no. Oh, no. Looks like Eli spins, and that is going to knock him out of contention, but he's able to get it restarted and go. So he's currently in 5th place, which is a blessing for Bob Reisinger. But now Kevin Lockridge making some moves, and also, oh my gosh, there's just a dogfight between these top 4 competitors in SM2. But Eli, actually, he's making up some ground as well. As we go through the field and we get another beautiful speed shot from the drone. We are looking at the exit of turn 5 into turn 6. And you can see just how muddy and slick these conditions can be. So you're definitely going to want to keep it on the blacktop and not go off into the grass, because that is detrimental to your race. Whew. I told you, folks, it was going to be an exciting one. We still have 13 laps remaining. So it is still up in the air as we've got some close racing all the way around this track. All right, it looks like Josh Dale has moved into 2nd place, but right now, Eamon Ryan saying, nah, I don't think so, as they are going door to door as they go around some of the most treacherous parts of the track. But it looks like Josh Dale able to hold off the onslaught of Eamon Ryan to secure 2nd place. But with those two drivers battling it out, that allows Bob Reisinger to start pulling away. So is Josh Dale and Eamon Ryan going to work together to try and get back on the rear bumper of Bob Reisinger? Or are those two going to battle it out, and can Kevin Lockridge make a move while those two are distracted and move up into podium position? We're going to find out, but right now, Eamon Ryan with a bold move into turn 1. Let's see if he can makes it work. We're going to find out in just a few moments as they come around turn 3. Who was out in front, and it's still Josh Dale in that number 10 red car. So Josh Dale making some very defensive moves to hold off Eamon Ryan, but this is not over yet, folks. As we see the rest of the field paddling it out into turn 1. All right, you can see just how big this facility is the racetrack, 2.1 miles. As you can see on the drone right there, we got some side-by-side action going into turn 11. A furious activity all around this south track right now. There are passes being made all around. As you can go in through turn 4, you can see Greg Sorg making a move. And there's Greg Sorg in that multicolored graffiti car. Gets around. That is the 190 of Scott Ballard. And I believe that is can't quite make out which car that is, that red and black car. Oh, that is the number 26 of Scott Ballard. Or, excuse me, Scott Bowman. So Bowman, it appears to have moved into striking position to get around. Can Bowman make a move on Ballard and get up with his rival of Greg Sorg? So time will tell. All right, these drivers doing everything they possibly can. And there's a move into turn 11. Can't quite make it work, but still the train continues. And that appears to be Mike Ryan and Kevin Ballard as we go in car. Oh, no, that's Eric Halleck. That's the 333 holding off Kevin Ballard. And you can see in the upper left-hand corner, Ballard trying to make a move to the inside. Halleck says, "Not today, my friend," as he holds him off. But Kevin Ballard, look at that, being towed around the racetrack. I don't think you can fit a dollar bill in between the back and front bumpers as they head in through turn 4. Very fast, 85 miles an hour through, using the entire racetrack. As we jump back over to some of the battles that you're seeing. There they are. There's Eric Halleck out in front with Kevin Ballard and Mike Ryan right behind. So once again, folks, I don't think I need to tell you, there's some fantastic racing. I'm going to say it right here. We have the best Spec Miata drivers in the country here at Autobahn Country Club. If you don't think so, well, then I challenge you, come on out and do battle with these drivers. Become a member. Oh, looks like we had a spin in South 11. That looks, unfortunately, that was Tim Miller in that camo colored car. Had a slight mishap, spins in turn 11, but is able to get the car pointed in the right direction and keep things moving. And here we go. Ballard trying to make a move on Halleck. Whew. Still Halleck able to fight off the onslaught of Kevin Ballard. Kevin Ballard has been a long-time racer here. They are founding members at this country club. So they've been members for over 20 years. Kevin Ballard is no stranger to South Track. So he knows all the tips and tricks, but right now he's able to hold, or he's being held off by Eric Halleck. So some great driving there. All right, Josh Dale looks to have gotten around the SM2 leaders to take the lead, and Eamon Ryan right behind him. Bob Reisinger and Kevin Lockridge are your top 4 in the SM2 category. So quite a big change up around this track. All right. Oh my gosh, Kevin Lockridge sliding through turn 4 as you get that great shot from the drone, trying to get around Bob in that 808. Bob Reisinger, he is starting to move like his lease is up And I don't know about you, I feel like Jesse Soprano because I am just so excited and so scared all at the same time. So there are 8 laps remaining. We're going to put the leaderboard up on the left-hand side of your screen so you can see overall where your favorite drivers end up. There is the top 3. So you've got Ethan Tyler and Matt Alexander. As we'll get back to that, to the leaderboard. All right. Whew. I got to catch my breath. All right, right there in that black and white striped car, that is your leader, Ethan Tyler, with some lap traffic behind him. And then the third car, that is, I believe, Matt Alexander. And you have Gavin Gleitzman. Nope. Okay. Oh no! Kevin Lovegridge has spun in turn 4. He's off into that wet grass, so he's trying to keep the car moving. See if he can get the car going. There we go. Now let's look for a safe re-entry, because here at Autobahn, we are all about safety. Got to make sure that everyone is being nice and courteous as Kevin Lafferge gets back out on the track and cleans those tires off. I want to take a moment, thank our sponsors once again, Cutting Edge Graphics and First Bank Card, for supporting the Spec Miata series that we have here. Thank you, guys. All right, and oh no, it looks like Kevin Ballard is retiring. I'm getting reports that his car is making a horrible sound, and I'm getting a report that horrible sound, it's worse than a Nickelback concert. So yeah, it's best that he pulls off and retires the car. All right. All right. If you're following along on Race Monitor, we have our top 5 in SM is Ethan Tyler, Matt Alexander, John Joe Duane, Jake Malter has moved into 4th place, and Taro Kashida coming from the back of the pack, so to speak, and has moved into 5th place. Now, in SM2, your leader, Josh Dale, this is his rookie season and is currently leading in SM2. You've got Eamon Ryan. Bob Reisinger, also in his rookie season as well. He's currently sitting in 3rd place. Eli Dysart has moved into 4th position. And the 5-2-3 of Connor Miklos, the track star. He's a runner and a racing star as well. So Connor Miklos in the top 5 for SM2 as well. And it looks like right now, Dysart all over the back bumper of Bob Reisinger. So can Eli make a move and maybe claim a podium spot after that spin? This has been some fantastic driving from the youngster, Eli. Let's see if he can make a move into turn 1. Thinks better of it and is just going to fill up the mirrors of 808 Bob. And he's going to sit back and wait for an opportunity. But Bob's doing some fantastic driving. As that battle continues, we've got more battles going on. There's Jake Malter and Taro Kashida. Those two have been just hammering it out all season long. So creating some rivalries there. But fear not, folks, because after the checkered flag flies, I guarantee they're going to be in the clubhouse telling racing stories and with arms around each other, just because it's just good, wholesome family fun here at Autobahn. But let's face it, these drivers are highly competitive. Everybody wants to be on the podium, and everyone wants a win here at Autobahn. With 5 laps remaining, it is still anybody's race. Thankfully, the rain has held off, but the track is still fairly damp. Everyone is on racing slicks. No one's really on rain tires because the track is fairly dry. But as you can see with some of the spins, it can be a little tricky. So there we go. Look at that. Just how fast these cars are going through some of these corners. There's the 211 of Noel Sachs going around. And there's Taro Kishida. And it looks like he's got to fight some lap traffic to get back up to Jake Malter. And now we're on turn 11 as the field is coming through. All right, Malter and Kishida having to deal with some lap traffic. It looks like they were able to slice through and make a pass. Speaking of passes, it looks like Ballard trying to get to the inside. No, I take that back. Is that Scott Ballard in the 190? Or is that Bob Grozlak with Greg Sorg? Well, too fast to tell, but there's some great driving. All right, and it looks like Greg Sorg able to hold off those cars, and I believe, let me check my timing over here, that's probably the 190 of Scott Ballard right behind Greg Sorg, but then also, again, you've got the 26 of Scott Bowman lying in wait, waiting for any type of mistake so he can pounce on that mistake and capitalize and move up. There's Greg Sorg, there's Ballard, there's Bowman, and right behind Bowman, that is the 8-9 of Bob Grozlak as well. So don't count out Grozlak. He's been racing in outside series with SCCCA. There's a couple of C's in there. He's been racing with them, but also he's back to race with us here at Autobahn. As we can see the field snaking around that double apex of turn 1, one of my personal favorite corners on this track. And here's the in-car of Eric Halleck, and right behind him is, I believe that's the 120 of Mike Ryan, putting the pressure on. Oh no, another spin going off like a fidget spinner. That's the 007. Oh, that's Big Flame, Andre Van Vuren, with a spin as well, but he's able to get it going again. And there's Eric Halleck coming up right behind him with Mike Ryan as they head into turn 6. All right, let's see can Mike Ryan make a move going into turn 8? We'll find out later. But it looks like the 1-5 of Art Zeismer, unfortunately, is pulling off, and he is retiring that car. Going back in car with Eric Halleck, one of the best battles we have right now. Mike Ryan all over the rear bumper of Eric Halleck, two very experienced drivers. Is going to make for some exciting action as the laps are winding down. There's your leader passing in that black and white car, Ethan Tyler. There's Matt Alexander, the car number 31 of John Joe Duane. All right, as the SM and SM2 cars are starting to get mixed, there's Jake Malter, Taro Kashida, and I believe that's the 211 of Noel Sachs, and I believe that was Norm Malter as well. And there is 808 Bob in that silver and red car. Gets around Greg Sorg and Bowman right there. So, mixing things up. Oh, no, correction. That was Scott Ballard getting around Greg Sorg. So, anybody's game so far with only 2 laps remaining. The fireworks are going to come out. Everybody's going to pull all the tricks out of the bag. There is the white flag being shown to our current leader of Ethan Tyler, starting to walk away from Matt Alexander. But will Joe Duane make a move? Can he make a move on Matt Alexander? We're going to find out as the last lap antics take place. All right, as we look at the starter stand and the field coming around, Greg Sorg trying to make a move on Ballard. That's going to be one we want to keep an eye on because, and look at that, Scott Bowman is currently in third place for SM2. And there's Mike Ryan and Eric Halleck. And is that the 007 of Andre Van Vieren? Or the 197 of his son, AJ? We'll find out in a little bit. But right now, here comes your leader, Ethan Tyler. Only a few corners left before he takes home that precious checkered flag. Ethan Tyler with a dominant lead as they come down to the wire. Is there going to be any other changes? Can Joe Duane get around to Alexander? Checkered flag comes out. Ethan Tyler is your winner, followed by Matt Alexander and John Joe Duane taking home the podium positions. Jake Malter currently in fourth place. But no, is that? Okay, it is Jake Malter and Taro Kashida finishing out your top 5. But where are the SM2 leaders? Here they come as they receive the checkered flag. As we were watching that battle, it looked like Scott Ballard was able to hold off Greg Sorg and Scott Bowman. Here come the SM2 leaders. And it looks like Josh Dale out in front, still able to hold off Eamon Ryan as Ryan slides through turn 11. He has given it everything he's got. But right now, I believe Josh Dale able to hold off the onslaught and takes home his first win with Eamon Ryan quickly behind him. Oh, fantastic racing from everyone, and this is why you want to tune in to the Autobahn live broadcast, because where else can you get family entertainment, some great racing? So again, folks, we love that you join us for all of our races here and our live streams. Up on the screen right now, here is your official finishing order: Ethan Tyler and Matt Alexander and John Joe Duane. Those are your podium winners. Jake Malter making it all the way up into 4th place. Same with Taro Kashida as he worked his way through the field, coming from all the way into the back of the pack. Scott Ballard, Greg Sorg, and Scott Bowman. Some great battles between those 3 fierce competitors. Bob Groslack also moving up into 9th position, and our in-car camera of Eric Halleck. That's your top 10 in Spec Miata. Here is your top 2. Josh Dale with his first ever win in his rookie season. So congratulations to Josh. Eamon Ryan in 2nd place. Eli Dysart as well, a rookie. And also, I believe that is his first podium as well. Bob Reisinger, fantastic racing from Bob. AJ Van Vuren moved into 5th position, followed by Mark Stadolski, Connor Miklos in that 523 blue Spec Miata, and then followed by John Milovic. Kevin Lockridge unfortunately had that spin, knocked him down, but he still finished in your top 10, along with Sean Benet as well. So, once again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe button, and be sure to join us October 12th for the big blowout end of the year Oktoberfest celebration. And folks, my name is Kyle Nato. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time here at Autobahn Country Club.